So I've been watching so much gameplay that I haven't actually listened to like the top people who have actually played it. So that's what we're going to do right now, is look at what TGG has to say about what he saw for his 3 hours of GTA 6 at Rockstar North.
Or in those 2.5 hours, because we've all seen the trailer now. We'll get to breaking that down. But what about the gameplay? I actually don't even know where to start. Look, the main takeaway for me with GTA 6 from 2.5 hours.
What we're seeing already right here is the screenshot. So the gameplay we saw was from Netflix and Rockstar working together. The trailer as such, the extended look, but then they also gave like some content creators and journalists access to these as well. So we see a crocodile. I mean, we don't really actually understand much here except for it's Florida.
That I saw, and I spoke to Rob Nelson about this. You know, we had a good conversation about it. GTA 5 and GTA Online to some extent is a game that you can turn your brain off to. You know what I mean? You can kind of mindlessly play it. It's still fun. It's not taking anything away from the game, but it is what it is. I feel like you can...
I would say that it's one of the strong points actually of GTA 5 is that you can turn your mind off to it. So you don't have to think too hard and you can just, but anyway.
Turn your brain off to GTA 5. From what I saw, that is not going to be the case with GTA 6. This game, somewhat similar to Red Dead 2, but in the best way possible, forces you to constantly make decisions. Every decision you make, you're going to have to weigh up the pros and cons of those decisions. This is a game, this is a world that's alive, more so than...
So there's something important about this, and if you think you're going to be able to watch TGG, I've got a lot to say here. So this is important because there are two types of like playstyles here that I think are important to be able to enable, which I haven't played the game, so I don't know if it's going to be or not. I think it is important with GTA 5 that you were able to just literally, you know, get the cops, lose the cops, whatever it may be, and that's a large part of it, right? Running over people, taking their vehicles, you know, whatever else. But if in GTA 6 it's more so the case that in the storyline you have to consider like your honor-based system as it is called or whatever else, that's cool. But I am hoping that GTA 6 will allow for casual play too. I'm sure it will.
Any other GTA in the past. This truly is a world full of characters and NPCs that feel like real people. And everything that you do in that world comes with a lot more weight than previous GTAs. Now, ignore that it's daytime right now. I had to do a little jump cut because now I have Rob's official quote regarding this question and statement that I made about decision making in GTA 6. So in response to my statement about having to make a lot more decisions this time around, Rob Nelson said this: "You have to make a lot more decisions, yes, all the time. And I think it adds so much to the game. You can find yourself playing in a restrained way, and then someone crosses a line, and then that's it, you have to deal with them. Or you just don't care and say, screw it. But even that is a decision, and it feels powerful and often very funny in the moment. And it brings a bit of risk now to jack someone out of the car. They're going to call the cops, right? I'm going to have a bunch of trouble. Then I might have to deal with them. So maybe I won't just grab someone out of the car. Maybe I'll find a car parked where no one is around and break into it knowing I can do it and get away clean. I think you feel a lot more like a criminal and you have to think like..."
This just sounds like GTA RP, no? Like, for those of you who have played it, you know what I'm talking about. But in GTA RP, basically, like, everything is more thought out. Like, you have to try and work out if you even have the skills to jack that car. In GTA 5, you press triangle or whatever F it is, maybe it is on PC, etc., and you can just get in. Whereas here, it sounds like you're actually going to have to be able to beat up the dude who's driving the car before you can get it. I don't know.
Like one a lot more with the way this game has been designed. Now, these decisions that Rob has just spoke about make this game feel massively different to every GTA we've played before. And with that in mind, I sort of want to shift over to what I actually saw at Rockstar and the gameplay that I saw, and why I think this is essentially the definitive GTA. It's sort of like Red Dead 2 mainly, but also games like San Andreas with all of its side activities, GTA 4 and GTA 5 had a baby. It strips the best parts of those games and the fan favorite features from each of them and puts it into one game. Thus, in my opinion, making it the biggest and best GTA I've ever seen. All right, let's talk about two things.
I would bloody hope it's the biggest and best because it's like the newest, right? It's the most modern. They're meant to be taking advantage of all the new technologies they have to offer.
That people are wondering about. Will GTA 6 have an honor system like Red Dead 2? And will GTA 6 have a relationship system? The answer is yes and yes, but kind of no and yes. Okay, so let's talk about that first. The honor-like system from Red Dead 2 coming across. This time, it's called Criminal Profile, and it's actually quite different. Now, I know what you might be thinking. I don't want to play as a good guy in GTA. That doesn't make any sense. We're a criminal. And yes, they completely understand that. And Rob Nelson made it very clear to me that a low criminal profile does not mean bad. Okay, play the game how you want to play the game. It's not bad, it's just different. At the same time, if you are being an extremely bad guy, you know, going around murdering puppies or hammering bodies that are already dead or excessively mowing people down.
Did TGG say that we're going to be able to do that to puppies? Because I bloody hope not.
For example, yeah, your criminal profile will drop. Now, what's also interesting is there's no criminal profile bar. You're not going to see it going up and down in real time. But there is a menu. In fact, at the time I saw it, there was an entire Jason and Lucia tab in the menu that showed both Jason and Lucia's criminal profile status. And that Jason and Lucia tab also showed their relationship status, which we'll talk about soon. Now, how do you improve your criminal profile? Not even necessarily being a good guy, right? Like, again, this is GTA. You're not really meant to be a good guy. But instead, you can improve your criminal profile by being a good criminal. So what the hell does that mean? What is a good criminal? Well, say you're doing a store robbery. Let's say you successfully pull off the store robbery without killing anyone. You sort of get in, get out like a professional. So that, even though it is a crime, will increase your criminal profile because you did it the right way. Now, this is something that I found very exciting. Rob Nelson actually told me that there is a state you can get to where your criminal profile gets so low, so bad, that the logo will actually crack or shatter, which means at that point, you can never come back. You are essentially, I don't want to say evil. I don't think evil is the right word, but your criminal profile is done for that entire playthrough, essentially. There is genuinely nothing you can do to recover your criminal profile from that point.
I think a lot of people are going to end up in that spot. I mean, I don't know. I genuinely don't know how bad you have to do to get there, but for anyone who's just like a casual player who wants to wreak havoc, that seems like quite likely, but maybe you have to like be really bad throughout like 60% of the game until it gets there. I don't know. What I'd be interested to know though, which TGG hasn't said, is what actually gets you there, and also what does it mean for later in the game? Like, how does me not having a good criminal profile, how is that going to affect what I have access to, what I don't have access to, how people are around me, or how NPCs etc are around me? How does this change anything? Because right now I don't get it.
And again, like I said, that doesn't even necessarily mean that's a bad thing. Maybe that's how you want to play, but I think that's a great feature. I can't wait to see how that actually works. Anyway, I'm really excited to see how the community reacts to the criminal profile. And I have a couple pages of notes from Rob about why they chose to put this in GTA 6 and the thought process behind it. So that will be in its own video later in the week. So look forward to that. Let's talk about the relationship bar. Well, the relationship system, because again, there is no bar. You're not going to see a bar down the bottom of your screen that goes up and down. That's not exactly how that works. You can increase your relationship status by obviously texting Jason and Lucia. They can text each other. You can say goodnight even. You quite literally can treat this game like a date.
But wait, so does that mean that we get a text back? That's awesome. How? Is that like AI based or like that's, oh gosh, that could get risky though, man. That could get very risky. If they actually start it like an AI chatbot, basically, that who knows? Who knows?
What? That's up to you. You can go on dates. Even things like going to the gym, for example, can act as a date. If I'm remembering correctly, Jason and Lucia held hands in the trailer. If not, that is something you can do. When Jason and Lucia are walking around together, you can.
That's one thing I did notice though, like in the gameplay preview, is that like they genuinely act like a couple, and they act like a normal couple. I mean, obviously in terms of like the guns and all of that stuff, not so much, but in terms of especially the bedroom scene, like Lucia sort of like procrastinating getting ready for like drinks with their friends, or obviously Brian. I mean, anyone who's been in a relationship, I mean, this looks like a normal damn relationship, man.
Hold hands. And I believe that will bode well for your relationship. Okay, let's talk about the map real quick. Rob threw some figures at me. The map is twice the size of GTA 5's map, 3 times the size of Red Dead 2's map. Vice City itself is twice the size of Los Santos, And Vice City and its surrounds, so sort of the surrounding suburbs of Vice City, is 11 times bigger than Los Santos and its surrounds, which is like nuts, dude. What? That is huge. As I believe we would.
It's kind of hard to like actually picture what that's going to be like, but it excites the hell out of me.
Would have seen in the trailer. I've only seen it once at this point, so, you know, we're going through this together. Up the top left, there are 3 bars: health, stamina, and what looks like Deadeye, but it's actually called focus. Now, health and stamina, somewhat self-explanatory, right? We don't need to go into that. What's interesting about all 3 of these, though, is they can all be permanently and temporarily increased through things like working out consistently, doing side activities. Think, you know, somewhat similar to Red Dead 2, and they can be temporarily increased by things like consumables. You know, one-time use items that will fill your bar up a bit more than usual, but as that bar gets depleted, it's only going to fill up to the regular point again, right? It's not going to go all the way up to the top again. You can sort of boost your bar past the normal point with consumables like food, drinks, protein bars, which we will talk about. Dude, the gym system's kind of crazy. But let's talk about focus, okay? Because this is different to Deadeye. It's not the exact same thing. It's similar, but very different at the same time. So you can use focus as both Jason and Lucia to slow down time, kind of like Deadeye, kind of like Michael's special ability. But you're also going to be able to see weak points on both NPCs and vehicles. Now, I will talk about vehicles. In fact, vehicles will need their own standalone video because, dude, that's even fuel. They actually did it. They actually did fuel. They've gone full role play. If you have to fuel up the cars like that, yeah, I mean, it doesn't surprise me though, because like even the driving gameplay that we've seen so far is clunky on purpose, right? Worried about it. It's fine. Like, it's going to be fun. It's not going to be like a massive inconvenience, but they're doing fuel. They're even doing electric vehicle chargers. Anyway, I'm getting off track. We'll get to that, dude. I'm excited. Can you tell a little bit? I don't know. But yes, when you use focus on NPCs, you can see their weak points. And of course, on vehicles, you want to target things like tires, which, as you saw in the trailer, is a lot more useful this time around. The engine block, the gas tank, target different points of vehicles, and it's going to be a lot more effective than previously. Up the top right, there's 3 different types of money.
Okay, I'm not going to lie. I don't feel like I understand any better than I did 2 minutes ago what focus is about. I got that there's fuel in the cars, we got EVs, and that there's different car parts that you can shoot, but I don't know how that... anyone else? I mean, yeah.
Or income up the top right. You've got your bank account.
Okay, hang on, let me move it again. So now if I get my big head out of the way, bank account, cash, and duffel bag value. Okay.
Which I believe is a purple logo. You've got cash. Then sometimes you've got a third one there, which is your duffel bag. How much loot is in your duffel bag. So money in your bank is safe, obviously. Money that's in your cash can be lost on death or possibly arrest as well, but definitely death.
We know you love Super Saiyan.
Arrest is a big one. It's the way that he said that casually, when like arrest is one of the #1 things that GTA 5 players wanted to be able to have happen to them, because that was one of the biggest low points and crap points of GTA 5, was that you're not going to get arrested. If you annoy the police, they don't try to arrest you, they try to put a bullet in your head, which is completely different. That's awesome to know that there's going to be arrests now. I kind of assumed it, but still.
Bag stuff, anything that's in your duffel bag will have to be taken to a fence. We'll get more into that fence system later in the week. There's a lot to it. But for now, if you're wondering, you will need to take anything in your duffel bag to a fence. Also, an interesting thing this time around is any cash in your cash account that you can't just deposit that via your phone. You do actually have to go to an ATM.
Okay.
I kind of like. It makes more sense. It's more realistic. All right, I've got a few notes on the driving here. As you probably saw in the trailer, and again, I did speak to Rob Nelson about this. We had a chat about it. The driving is definitely weightier than GTA 5. I'm not a car guy, so I can't tell you the ins and outs of the driving mechanics. But, you know, like with a lot of cars, for example, you can't just gun it from a stop-start. You can't just hold R2. You're going to spin out. Like rear-wheel drive cars, for example. You're going to feel that this time. So it's a lot heavier, I guess, in some ways less arcadey than GTA 5. But what's also interesting is that the game has higher top speeds than GTA 5.
Oh.
So while there is a bit more weightiness, sort of closer to, I guess, GTA 4, it also, in a lot more ways, is even more fun than GTA 5, where, yeah, there's higher top speeds. You're going to be able to zoom across the back.
That's going to be so interesting for racing. because they did show us racing gameplay in the preview. I assume to basically, in the preview, they showed a bunch of different things. I think to try to satisfy everyone's concerns about, this part of the game that I prefer the most compared to the part of the game that my best friend prefers to. We both got a little bit out of it. So whether one person cares more about story, the other one cares more about driving, the other one cares more about the weapons, they kind of gave all of it, and racing was one of them. And racing does look really cool. I think the fact that they are making it heavier, clunkier, etc., and at the same time you can go faster, I think the being able to go faster thing makes people who race, you can tell me if you enjoy the racing or not, I don't personally do loads of it, but I did do it in GTA Online sometimes, I think that'll be interesting, but it sounds like it's going to require even more skill.
I think, and again, I've only seen 3 hours of gameplay, I think the driving looks to be what a lot of us hoped for it to be. Somewhat of a mix between 4 and 5, but even better. So that was really encouraging to see. Okay, we're going to talk about the police system because this is another thing that just completely changes the way you're going to be playing the game. And this is one of those situations where you need to make decisions constantly, more so than in GTA 5. In GTA 5, right, you steal a car, you drive away from the cops. It's pretty simple. It's not hard to lose the cops. We know how that system works. Well, this time, my God, there's a lot of changes. Let's talk about some of the changes I saw. First off, police no longer show up on the minimap. So you can't just that was what Rob sort of made a point of telling me, is you can't just stare at the minimap and hide in an alley and watch the cops go by. And instead of actually playing the game in GTA 5, we just stared at the minimap, right? That's what we all sort of did. You can't do that anymore because the cops aren't on the minimap this time around. You actually need to pay attention. Now, the 6-star wanted level is back. It's kind of hard to get 6 stars, apparently, and if you do have a 6-star wanted level, cops will search map-wide for you. If you have less than a 6-star wanted level, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, there will be an initial circle on your map that the cops will be searching it, and then there will be a bigger circle outside of that that's a lighter tinge of red. So you've got a dark red circle where you did the thing, then you've got a bigger search area. You kind of need to...
So the red's meant to give you sort of a sense of urgency or of yeah, you damn effed it this time round sort of thing. Okay.
Probably aim to get out of that circle. That will help you lose the cops because they're not really going to be searching outside of that circle. But losing the cops is a lot harder. One, cops are smarter. They're going to shoot out your tires. And losing a tire in this game is a lot harder to drive than GTA 5. It is.
Oh my gosh.
But one of the main changes to the cop system that I noticed while we were playing is that a lot of cars have trackers in them, especially cop cars. Every cop car will have a tracker in them. So it's going to be almost impossible to lose the cops while you're driving a cop car because they're going to know exactly where you are. So if you have a car that has a tracker in it, well, you might want to switch to an older car that doesn't have a tracker in it.
Okay, I don't even know what to think about that. So they've actually made it genuinely harder.
Or try and remove that tracker. Now, how do you remove a tracker that's in a car? Well, you need to take it to a fence. And that fence, you need to unlock the ability with that fence to remove trackers, which isn't something you unlock at the
Oh my gosh, they've really gone into this one. Okay.
start. How else could you lose the cops? Well, you could also take your car to a pay and spray. Pay and sprays are returning. But again, pay and sprays are something that you unlock over time. You're not going to have all of the pay and sprays unlocked. Cops, like I said, are smarter as well. So they know the car that you got into. They know your appearance, what you're wearing, all of that. They also recognize if you were with Lucia, like if Jason and Lucia are together,
no,
they're going to recognize that. So you might want to split up. They're going to recognize what weapon you're holding. That's going to be a big deal as well. So losing the cops, you have to put some thought into it. You're going to want to change your outfit. You're probably going to...
This does change, though. This does change GTA in the sense of what he said at the very start was that it changed, GTA 6 changes how mindlessly, essentially, you can play the game. Well, I bloody believe it. I mean, if, being able to, especially as someone who, is not a huge GTA player who plays the entire campaign or whatever, for a lot of people who are casual, they just want to be able to, do massacres in Vice City, drive around and all that sort of thing, rob cars from people and, lose the cops fairly simply. It seems like they've taken that ability away. That's going to be really interesting to see how it plays out with the majority of casual players.
Don't want to change the vehicle that you're driving. Again, and I think this is great.
Because it's actually hard to conceive for me that you have to now think about whether there's a tracker on your device, whether you're wearing the same thing that you wore when you shot up that shot before, whether you're still with your partner who was with you shooting at that store. I don't know if we're going to have our partner also change clothes, whether you can, I mean, the whole, like, being able to paint your car thing or, like, have, like, a fence take out the tracker, that is more reminiscent of Leicester, which did require some doing to get to the point where you had Leicester in your contacts list. But this is a very new and interesting, I mean, it'll be interesting.
From what I saw, don't get me wrong, but in the best way possible, the game sort of makes you think a lot more than GTA 5 did. Again, we're going to go more in depth over that over the next week. That's only like half of my police notes. We have a lot. This video is already at like, what, 15 minutes. So, you know. And let's quickly talk about the phone. The phone, it's a big part of this game. There's a full-on social media system like a lot of us were expecting. And yes, you can look on the in-game social media, see what other NPCs are posting.
You didn't like it when I was bigger.
And you don't like how I got smaller.
You told me to eat less, work out.
Where they're posting it, and you could go to that location and possibly see the event unfolding in real time. So
that's
it is
insane.
Quite an extensive social media system, yes. There's also a bunch of other...
How extensive can that get, though? Because to me, the only way I could see that being completely sort of seemingly randomized, new, interesting over years and years and years would be to do that but using generative AI. That's, I mean, I don't know how else they would conceivably make it interesting and new every time that you see something like that over years and years, unless Rockstar really is expecting to create like thousands of new situations every like week basically, or every month or whatever it is over the next decade. I mean, they could do, if any developer was to do it, it would be them, I'm guessing, but I'm really interested to see how that plays out. Now, Rockstar haven't ruled out generative AI. They just said that AI doesn't make the game what it is, which obviously...
apps on your phone, like a Buck Me, is sort of a Cash App parody, right? That's going to be your banking app now.
Wait, what was it called?
An extensive social media system, yes. There's also a bunch of other apps on your phone, like a Buck Me is sort of a Cash App parody, right? That's going to be your banking app now. Ride Me is like Uber, so you can call Uber to Scooter Bros. That's going to be...
That doesn't surprise me. I think, unfortunately, because of the leaks, I've seen that.
like the mechanic in GTA 5, where you call your personal vehicle. Now, that wasn't a thing in GTA 5 single player, so that's a pretty big deal, right? Being able to call your car to you. You've got What Up, which is texting, so you can text other NPCs in the game, as well as Jason and Lucia can text back and forth. There's also a fitness app, like telling you when to work out and like what your workout status is, if that's something you care about. In fact, let's pivot and let's talk about side activities, because this is a pretty big part of the game. Let's start off with gyms, seeing as we were just sort of talking about working out.
Okay, this is coming across to me like they have diagnosed pretty extensively the problem with GTA 5, which was largely that really awesome looking ambient feeling, but not necessarily not meaty. There wasn't substance once you'd completed the game. Eventually it's largely the same recycled voice lines, largely the same paths, largely the same NPC reactions, and you were sort of expected just to be able to enjoy the fact that Los Angeles was even digitized in the first place. Now it sounds like you genuinely do have various different activities to upkeep your character, which itself will make it easier for Rockstar in a way to distract from other things, in the sense of, if you can progress your character like this, like I've seen, like your weight can change, all that sort of thing. It seems like they're actually almost bringing like a Nintendogs aspect to this, ironically, where it's like, or Tamagotchi, or whatever it may be, where you want to keep your character in a certain place and you have to work to maintain that. Almost a bit like how with online people work to maintain their rank in ranked modes, in multiplayers, or trying to get a certain gun skin by grinding it out, for example. It sounds like GTA 6 isn't going to rely just on online for this. It sounds like they are trying to give the actual base game longevity where you're simply also working out. I mean, we'll see how far that goes. And also they can update the game continuously so that maybe there are different workouts that you can do and different objectives or whatever else, but it does seem like they're filling in what they didn't, what seemed hollow in GTA 5.
What I'm going to explain is a quite in-depth system. Some people are going to love this. Other people are going to be like, that's not for me. I don't really want to go to the gym in a video game. And that's completely fine. Again, this is something that I spoke to Rob about, and this is something that they want to be completely optional. You do not have to engage with the side activities in this game. You do not have to go to the gym and get in great shape. It is completely optional, and you can play through the entire game without ever stepping foot in a gym. But if you do choose to interact with these systems, they will give you slight boosts, whether that's
I can imagine, because let's be honest, if they didn't do that, it'd be dumb, right? If they literally give you like the gym and these different stamina bars and whatever else have you, and I'm hoping potentially that the focus bar is affected also by the gym, these are things that mimic real life, right? If you're fit and well, then you're going to be able to run more miles. If you're fit and well, you're going to be able to think better. Now, I don't know how far they're going to take that, but in this instance, if you are fit and well, my guess is that missions become easier.
Health boost, stamina boost, focus boost, whatever it is. Anyway, let's talk about gyms. I saw Rob take Jason and Lucia together into one of the gyms on the map. Let me explain how awesome this system is. It blew my mind. You walk up to the front desk in the gym and you buy a membership. Okay, first of all, pretty sick. Then you walk around to near where the change rooms are in the gym, and there's vending machines. So Rob walks up, scrolls through all of the items, and there are a lot in this vending machine. And I believe he bought a protein shake before his workout. So Lucia takes the protein shake. This gives her a stamina and strength boost for her workout, a temporary boost, so that she can do more reps easily in the workout. So anyway, we go over, we do a bench press. I think she does 8 reps. Does that once, and that bumps up the workout ring by 33%. So if you complete 3 strength exercises, for example, it will give you, I believe, a health boost for.
So this is literally like, again, this actually makes me think about how in GTA 5, I think money, what they're doing here is kind of a similar thing to how they did it with money, but they're expanding it, which is awesome. They are trying to give you more reason to play. In GTA 5, the reason to play eventually became trying to inflate your bank account to the biggest number possible. Then being able to get a flat or a big apartment or a big house or whatever else. In heists, for example, then you have a bigger leg up in heists to be able to whatever else, right? Here it seems like they want to give you more than just a bank account to fill up. It seems like they want to give you a character to fill up in the sense of, yeah, just continuously being able to progress it.
Amount of time. To be honest, I forget what that time length was, but if you do choose to go down that path, do all of this strength stuff and this fitness stuff, there will be some minor benefits. All right, we're at like the 20-minute mark, and I still have so much to talk about. We're going to have to spread this out over the next week. I'm going to do dedicated breakdowns for each.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to that because I really want to talk more about what's happening here. I think there is a substantial amount, and we're going to have to look through all of it. I'm trying my best, frankly, to cover everything already with the character relationships and so on. So if you want to see what's going on,